Ever pondered if your love for fashion could save the planet? Well, the answer is not just a resounding yes, but a stylish one at that. Welcome to the world of sustainable fashion, a movement that's transforming the way we dress, and more importantly, the way we think. Now, some of you may be asking, what exactly is sustainable fashion? Simply put, it's fashion that's designed, produced, and distributed in ways that respect our planet and its inhabitants. It's about considering the entire life cycle of a garment, from the fields where its cotton is grown to the factories where it's stitched together, right down to the moment it graces your wardrobe. It's also about ensuring fair wages for the people who make our clothes and reducing the fashion industry's carbon footprint. In a world where climate change is no longer a distant threat but a harsh reality, the importance of sustainable fashion cannot be overstated. It's not just a trendy buzzword, it's a necessity. And guess what? It's gaining popularity like never before. More and more fashion enthusiasts are embracing sustainable fashion, realizing that they can look good, feel good, and do good, all at the same time. This shift in mindset is not just a trend, it's a revolution. A revolution that's helping combat one of the biggest challenges of our time, climate change. Sustainable fashion is a powerful tool in this fight, helping to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, save water, and limit waste. It's a way for us to express our individuality and style without compromising the health of our planet. And it's not just consumers who are driving this change. The fashion industry is stepping up, integrating sustainability into style. But what does this mean for the fashion trends of today? Well, that's a conversation for another scene. So, what's the buzz in sustainable fashion today? One of the most exciting trends we're seeing is the rise of slow fashion. This movement encourages us to step back from the fast-paced, constantly changing world of high street fashion and instead invest in fewer but higher quality pieces. It's about understanding that good fashion takes time and that it's worth waiting for pieces that are made with care, attention, and respect for our planet. Alongside the slow fashion movement, we're seeing a resurgence in the appreciation for local craftsmanship. Rather than mass-produced items that are designed to be worn for a season and then discarded, consumers are increasingly seeking out pieces that are handcrafted by local artisans. These items not only have a unique charm and character, but also support local economies and reduce the carbon footprint associated with long-distance shipping. Next, let's talk about materials. Organic is the buzzword of the moment, and rightly so. Organic cotton, for example, uses up to 90% less water than conventional cotton, and without the harmful pesticides. We're also seeing the rise of innovative materials like bamboo, hemp, and even pineapple leather, which offer sustainable alternatives to traditional materials. Finally, we can't ignore the trend of recycling and upcycling. This is all about giving a new lease of life to items that would otherwise end up in landfill. From thrift shopping to DIY upcycling projects, consumers are increasingly finding creative ways to extend the life of their clothes. Brands, too, are recognizing the potential here, with many now offering recycling programs and creating new collections from recycled materials. These trends are not just changing the way we dress, but are also transforming our impact on the environment. As we move towards a more sustainable future, it's exciting to see how fashion is evolving to play its part. And remember, every piece of clothing you choose to buy or not to buy can make a difference. These trends are not just changing the way we dress, but are also transforming our impact on the environment. Who are the trendsetters in this sustainable fashion revolution? You may ask. Well, there are a number of brands that are championing the cause of sustainable fashion, leading the charge with innovative initiatives and making a real difference in the industry. Let's start with Patagonia. This brand is no newcomer to the sustainable fashion scene. Their commitment to the environment extends far beyond their products. Their mission statement is to build the best product, cause no unnecessary harm, use business to inspire and implement solutions to the environmental crisis. They've even launched a worn wear program encouraging consumers to buy used Patagonia items, reducing the demand for new products. Next up is Stella McCartney, a name synonymous with luxury and sustainability. McCartney has been a trailblazer in the industry, pushing boundaries to prove that luxury and sustainability are not mutually exclusive. Her brand uses innovative materials such as vegetarian leather and recycled polyester, demonstrating that fashion can be kind to the planet. Then there's Eileen Fisher, a brand that's been practicing sustainability long before it was a buzzword. Their vision is simple: clothes that are designed to last. Eileen Fisher focuses on timeless designs and quality materials, discouraging the fast fashion mentality of buying cheap and replacing often. And of course, we can't forget about Everlane. They've made transparency their mantra, revealing the true costs behind their products, from materials to labor to transportation. This radical transparency allows consumers to make informed choices, driving home the message that every purchase has an impact. These brands and others like them are truly leading the charge in the sustainable fashion revolution. They are demonstrating that style doesn't have to come at the expense of the planet. They are proving that sustainable fashion isn't just a trend, but a movement that's here to stay. But these brands can't do it alone. It's clear that brands are embracing this shift, but how can we as consumers contribute? How can your fashion choices make a difference? You may be wondering. Well, let's delve into that. As consumers, we hold a tremendous amount of power in our wallets. Every time we make a purchase, we're casting a vote for the kind of world we want to live in. This is especially true in the fashion industry, where our choices can have far-reaching impacts on the environment, on communities, and on the economy. Firstly, let's consider conscious buying. This means making deliberate, thoughtful purchases. It's about choosing quality over quantity and investing in clothes that last. It's about considering the life cycle of a garment before we buy it. How was it made? Who made it? What materials were used? And importantly, how long will it last? When we make conscious buying decisions, we are supporting a more sustainable fashion industry. Secondly, supporting local artisans and small businesses is vital. Not only does this boost our local economies, it often means supporting traditional craftsmanship and skills. Many local artisans use sustainable methods and materials in their work, and by buying from them, we're helping to keep these traditions alive. Lastly, let's talk about recycling old clothes. The sad truth is, a lot of our discarded clothing ends up in landfill. But it doesn't have to be this way. We can donate our old clothes, sell them, swap them, or even upcycle them into something new. By doing this, we're reducing waste and giving our clothes a second life. So you see, our fashion choices do have the power to make a difference. We can choose to support brands that prioritize sustainability. We can choose to buy less, but better. We can choose to value craftsmanship and longevity over fast fashion. And we can choose to extend the life of our clothes rather than sending them to landfill. Your fashion choices can indeed save the planet, but how can we ensure this trend towards sustainability continues? Well, that's a question we'll explore in our next segment. Stay tuned. What does the future hold for sustainable fashion? Now, that's a question that's been turning heads in the fashion industry. The future trends in sustainable fashion are anticipated to be dynamic, innovative, and profoundly impactful. Let's first talk about innovation. Innovative materials and techniques are the lifeblood of sustainable fashion. It's not just about finding alternatives to traditional materials like cotton and polyester, which are resource-intensive and contribute to pollution. It's also about discovering new ways to produce and recycle these materials. We're talking about lab-grown leather, biofabricated textiles, and dyes made from bacteria. The possibilities are endless, and the future will only bring more of such exciting innovations. Next, let's talk about policies. Governments and regulatory bodies worldwide are beginning to understand the importance of sustainable fashion. In the future, we can expect more stringent policies and standards for fashion brands. These may include rules on waste management, restrictions on harmful materials and dyes, and incentives for sustainable practices. With these policies, sustainable fashion won't just be a choice, it'll be the norm. Lastly, the role of consumer awareness cannot be understated. The future of sustainable fashion lies in the hands of consumers. As we become more aware of the environmental impact of our fashion choices, we'll demand more from our favorite brands. We won't just want fashion that looks good, we'll want fashion that does good. This shift in consumer consciousness will drive the fashion industry to be more sustainable. So, what's the bottom line? The future of sustainable fashion is bright and promising. Innovations will continue to push the boundaries of what's possible. Policies will ensure that sustainability becomes a standard, not an exception. And consumers, with their increasing awareness, will ensure that sustainable fashion becomes the norm, not just a niche. The future of fashion is indeed sustainable. It's not just a trend, it's a revolution that's here to stay.